7th final series in 4 straight. Well, it's now my pleasure to call upon the president of the National Hockey League, Mr. John Ziegler, to present the Conn Smythe Trophy to the outstanding player in the playoffs, the Islanders' Mike Bossy. Mr. Ziegler?
Thank you. It's indeed a pleasure, Mike. You had a tough opponent. I think your team played superbly. You deserved to win, and out of a great series, there's always a great star. And it's a great pleasure to present you the Conn Smythe Trophy as the outstanding player in the playoffs. Congratulations. Right?
Thank you. There's the trophy. Michael, you've held the Stanley Cup for 3 straight years. The first time you won the Conn Smythe. How does this rate?
Well, I sure am glad I won it last year. I thought I had a chance, and the team won, and I was a little disappointed that I didn't get to win it, but I'm very glad that we won the Stanley Cup. That's our first concern and main concern, and I'm sure glad this came along with it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike Bossy. Thank you very much, Mr. John Ziegler, the president of the National Hockey League. Right now, let's go to the Islanders' dressing room, where Dave Hodge is standing by with Brian Trottier.
Who is, of course, a former Conn Smythe Trophy winner himself and this year's point-scoring leader in the playoffs. I don't know if you plan it this way, but when the Islanders won the first cup, you scored 29 points in the playoffs. Last year you scored 29 points, and this year you scored 29 points. Now you figure that out for me, will you?
I really can't, Dave. I'm just happy to contribute. The guys were working hard. They're bearing down in scoring opportunities to put me right back up there again this year. I can't be more appreciative than seeing that silver thing back in this dressing room.
After 3 in a row, people out there are going to wonder if this is subdued compared to the first time or the second time. I guess the noise says it, but why don't you use some words too?
Well, it's always different. You know, I can understand how Montreal felt all those years they were winning it. You know, I just hope people don't get sick and tired of seeing us win it like they told me they were sick and tired of Montreal winning it. We're just so proud of everybody in this dressing room, and you can't express just how happy you really feel, Dad.
One of the differences you talk about is that this one has been won on the road. Now, you have a long flight home that I don't imagine is going to concern you at all. Tomorrow, what do you think the reaction is going to be back in Long Island?
I hope they come out to meet us because, you know, they were very supportive of us throughout the year, and, you know, they paid a good dollar to come and see us, and we just hope that we're going to see a nice warm welcome when we get back there because we appreciate you guys back in New York, and I just want to say hello to Mom and Dad back in Belle Marie and all the family. I love you all.
Well, we may be in the shower for a minute. We're going to bring a couple of Sutter brothers up here, 2 of 4 in the NHL, and there might be a couple more next year. There are very few of these Islanders who have not experienced this, and this is one of them, Brent Sutter. Now, you saw Dwayne the last couple of years do it, and you imagine what it'd be like. Tell me what it's like.
It's hard to explain, Dave. It's an unbelievable feeling, and I'm just so happy for all these guys because, you know, they've worked so hard for it, and, you know, they're a bunch of winners, and this is the best. That's all there is to it.
Come on, man! Brent is 19 years old, and now we hear what it's like for the veteran who's at 22 years old winning his 3rd cup in his 3rd NHL season. Blasé or what?
Well, it's nice all the time. Every time it gets better. We're just glad to be a part of it.
You want to say hello to the ranch back in Viking and the 2 older brothers who haven't yet experienced this and the 2 younger ones who would like to?
Well, yes, I would. I'd like to say hi to everybody back home and that. And I'm sure Brian and Darryl will get their chance someday because, you know, I feel they've worked very hard for where they've gotten today. And they'll do it someday, too. And I'm very proud of them because they're both such an inspiration.
Well, the Sutter name was on the cup twice prior to this season, and now we double that and put it on 4 times, and who knows, the Stanley Cup might become the Sutter Cup. Thanks, brothers. With me in the New York Islander dressing room is the biggest boss of the Islanders. You hear Bill Torrey and Al Arbor referred that way, but this is Mr. John O. Pickett, who is the owner of the New York Islanders, and as some coaches of this team and some players had problems in the past, so did you, and I guess this makes it worth it 3 times over, huh?
Well, it certainly does. The 3rd time is just as sweet as the first time. We're so proud of the entire organization. You mentioned Bill Torrey and Al Arbor, but he's the greatest group of guys in the world, and you know they've put more effort forward in this series where they were expected to win, but there's more pressure on them when that happens, and you just can't say enough for them. Vancouver, they should be very proud. Although they lost, we've had a tremendous reception here in the city. It's a great city, and they've got a great franchise, and I want to congratulate them for a fine year up to this point on the team.
You are known for the fact and praised for the fact, too, that this isn't something you do a lot, get in the public eye. And as such, nobody's going to accuse you of meddling in this organization. You've obviously decided that's the way to do it and prefer to do it that way. Tell us something about why you think this team can be this successful and probably remain this way for a while.
Well, I'll give you two quick reasons, Bill Torrey and Al Arbor. Now, if you can start with that, and then you take some great talent that Jerry Eman and Jimmy Devellano have brought into the organization. We have a great organization from the top down, all the way through. It's a small organization, but very efficient, very enthusiastic. I just think we're going to be in there for the next 8 to 10 years at least. We may not win it, but we're going to give our fans in New York a hell of a thrill, and that's what it's all about.
I've been cheering on Long Island, across Canada, and in parts of Texas, too, perhaps. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
To the owner of the Islanders, John Pickett. Stanley Cup 82 will return in just a moment. Last year's Conn Smythe Trophy recipient is this year's winning assistant coach. Does that make it a little different? You want to take all the credit for the strategy and everything?
No, I don't think I can take that much credit for that. It's just as big a thrill. I'm happy for Mike Bossy because I know what a thrill it was for me, and certainly he had a tremendous playoff series. And, you know, winning it again for the third time, it's another great thrill.
There has to be an oldest player on every team, and you're it. Now is obviously not the time to want to give this up because it's so much fun, but along the way you had a bit of a struggle this year. I think we can admit that. Are there thoughts about how much longer you might want to try to win this thing?
Heck, you know, when you're riding a big wave, there's no sense getting off the wave now. There's no question about that. But no, I haven't given it too much thought. Like you said, I struggle a little bit, but when you got as many good players on this hockey team as we do, you're allowed a little struggle here and there, and I don't foresee any changes in the near future as far as I'm concerned. If the boys are willing to carry me to the finals, I'm willing to ride along.
How about coaching into another one in this role, whether on skates or not? Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely. It's always a thrill, you know. It's people say the first one's better, the second one's better. Heck, at the end of the season, you're looking for the end, and this is a tremendous way to climax it all.
Congratulations to Butch Goring, who scored the first goal of tonight's clinching win. And we'll now bring your boss up here, the head coach of the Islanders, Al Arbor. If you could take Butch's place here. If this keeps on, the fingers are going to run out, and you're going to need toes for the Stanley Cup rings. This is 7 of them, and a lot of memories packed into them, and some immediate ones about this team.
Well, this team is a great club. You know, we struggled at the end of the season, the last week or 2 weeks of the season, and we struggled at the beginning, but we put it back together, and we did what we had to do. We made a lot of adjustments from teams to teams that we played, but it just proved the character of our team. It's a great hockey club, and the greatest character I've ever seen on a group of players.
Is the thought of the word and the team Pittsburgh rolling around in your head now to realize how close you came to not being here?
I'll tell you, I'd like to kiss the fellow that put that rule in this year so I could warm up a goaltender for 2 minutes and give everybody a rest. And, you know, we were fortunate we made it through that. It looked like pretty dim there for a while, but our greasy jet, John Tonelli, came through for us in regulation time and overtime.
Apart from that, Al, it seems to be getting easier. You beat Philadelphia in 6, you beat Minnesota in 5, and now you've beaten Vancouver in 4. Do you get any thought that it's easier to add on to the first one?
No, this is, for me as a coach, this is the toughest one of the 3. We started off at the end of the season, and Bossy got hurt, and we had 3 or 4 other players that were hurt, and it seemed that every game something else happened. So there had to be a lot of juggling around. We covered up a lot of things, and it was tough, but we started to play better. The 5th game against the Rangers, our team started to put things together. It's always a concern. You know, we had 11 players that have played in that tournament, and they've been playing hockey since last August. So I was kind of concerned of, you know, a little fatigue setting in.
How much longer might you be doing this? I mean coaching, not winning Stanley Cup.
Well, I don't know. I'm taking it one at a time, and I just like to enjoy this one a great deal.
I shouldn't have corrected myself, because as long as you coach, you might be winning Stanley Cups. There might be no difference. Al, congratulations, and enjoy this one.
Thank you very much.
Al Arbor, who won 4 Stanley Cup rings as a player and now has 3 as